Alhamdulillahi nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruhu wa nu'minu bihi wa natawakkalu alayh. Wa na'udzu billahi min shururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina. Man yahdihillahu fala mudilla lahu wa man yudlilhu fala hadiya lahu. Asyhadu an la ilaha illallah wa asyhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam tabaraka wa sallama tasliman kasiran kasira amma ba'd. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wa man ahsanu qawlan mimman da'a ila Allah wa amila salihan wa qala innani minal muslimin. My dear brothers and respected elders and sisters, there is no one who knows except Allah. Why except Allah? We may ask. We also know, But what it means, knows here, no one knows exactly the truth. No one knows the truth except Allah. Other than Allah, no one knows the truth. We know, but not the truth. Anything we know. This, that, this. But all not true. All falsehood. Do you know why? Why we know, but we know falsehood, but Allah knows the truth. That's why there is no one who knows except Allah. What we are interested is not to know falsehood, but to know the truth. But everything that we know are false. Why everything that we know are false? Samad.
Because we are limited.
Everything that we know are false because our sources of knowing is what we see, what we hear. That is the sources from where we know. Otherwise, we will not be able to know. If we are not able to see, we are not able to hear. So what we hear and what we see are extremely limited. So definitely what we know is limited. Because our hearing, our seeing are limited. So what we read, we read also what others see, what others hear, and they are also limited. So the knowledge that we obtain from other than Allah are definitely limited. And when the knowledge are limited, it is false. The unlimited, Allah knows. Allah knows limitless. It is not limited, it is unlimited. So He knows what is in the hearts of every man. Or what we say, He knows what everyone believes in what everyone believes, or what is in their hearts, what is in their bosom. So Allah knows. Nobody knows what is in our hearts except Allah. Sometimes we may think that this is in my heart, but it is actually not. Because we don't know what is in our belief, but it will be shown in our actions. Because men do according to what they believe, but Allah knows. Whether we have the belief in Allah or not, we may say to others that we are a believer. But Allah knows. So the Arab Badui were saying we are believers. So Allah told Nabi Sallam to tell them that don't tell you are believers, because the kalima which you have recited has not taken its place in your heart, or it has not reached your hearts. So but the Badui, the Arab Badui, the desert Arabs, they ignored, they ignored what Allah has reprimanded them. Allah told them not to say that you are a believer, but yet they still. So Allah revealed another verse of Quran and saying, are the desert Arabs trying to teach Allah about the religion of Allah? So in other words, Allah is telling them, don't try to teach me about the religion which I have given to you. You obey, not to say yourself that you are a believer, because the belief in Allah has not reached your hearts. It's only in your mouth. So you say you have entered Islam, because the iman has not reached your hearts. So Allah knows. But the Badui Arab doesn't know. They thought that the kalima have reached to their hearts. So when they ignored what Allah has forbidden them from saying, so Allah revealed verses telling that the desert Arabs are trying to teach Allah about the religion of Allah. Allah says Allah knows everything in the world, in the earth and the heavens, in between the earth and the heavens, and whatever is in the hearts of each and every man. So Allah knows. So now, similarly with us, we are telling we are actually Muslim. Actually, we are not Muslim yet. When we have recited the kalima. We are only a person who have entered Islam or intended to embrace Islam. But Islam has not been embraced by us in totality. So we are not Muslim. Muslim is a person who submit their will completely to the will of Allah, or they have submit their desires to the desire of Allah. They denied their desire, they replace it with the desire of Allah. So when a person who make a complete submission of his or her desire to the desire of Allah, then only that person is called a Muslim. So how to become Muslim? Not only by reciting the great kalima. Now we use the word Muslim because we do not know how to use any other words. So we say Muslim, he is non-Muslim. So Allah mentioned the Quran. وَمَنْ أَحْسَنُ قَوْلًا مِمَّنْ دَعَا إِلَى اللَّهِ وَعَمِلَ صَالِحًا وَقَالَ إِنَّنِي مِنَ الْمُسْلِمِينَ. So Allah mentioned that a Muslim is a person who are doing the work of inviting people to Allah and he has good deeds. Then only he is called a Muslim. If you are not doing the work of inviting people to Allah, and surely you do not have a good action, you cannot call yourself وَقَالَ إِنَّنِي مِنَ الْمُسْلِمِينَ. You should call yourself a person who have entered Islam. That we cannot give a name, A person who have entered Islam is so long. So we resort to the word Muslim. Muslim Association, Muslim Student Association of America, or Brunei Muslim Student Association of where Rizal studied, Michigan. He studied in Rizal, yes, UK, but what city? You know, Manchester, you know. So they call it Muslim Student Association or Muslim Pakistan Party, something like that. Because we cannot use any other words. We can't. The Muslim Association of those who have entered Islam. No, it is not. You have not been given a name yet by Allah Taala. When we recited the Greek Kalima, we have not even given a name, other than saying that we are a person who have entered Islam. No names. We only be able to attain a name or acquire a name which is a Muslim when we have done the work. What does it mean? That means after reciting the Greek Kalima, we have to do the work. The work of inviting people to Allah, or the work of inviting people to good and forbidding people from evils, actually is the work which fulfills the right of reciting the Greek Kalima. So Allah says, whose words are better? There's no other words better other than the words of inviting people to Allah. What it means? Inviting people to believe in the oneness of Allah. Inviting people to believe in their hearts, okay, in the oneness of Allah. If it is in the mouth, it's not yet a Muslim. It has to be in the heart. We believe in the oneness of Allah, or we believe there is no God except Allah. See, and naturally, when we believe there is no God except Allah, it follows Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. Once we have that belief, then our action will become saleh. Wa amila saliha. So, waman ahsanu qawlam mimman da'a ilallah wa amila saliha. In other words, this verse of the Quran, you know, is telling us that for us to have a good action, we have to have iman. For us to have iman, good iman, we have to do the work of inviting people to Allah. And the words of inviting people to Allah is the good words, which to Allah are the good words. There is no other good words with more than the words of calling people or inviting people to Allah. So when we frequently, you know, inviting people to recite the kalima, there is no God except Allah, and Muhammad is messenger of Allah. And when we frequently remind those who have recited the kalima, there is no God except Allah, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, repeatedly, day and night, no? With sincerity, with the sacrifice of our time and wealth, in the way Muhammad sallam, with the intention only to please Allah, then Allah will put this kalima into our heart. So when it is in our heart, that means we believe in the oneness of Allah. Then our action, you know, that flows out of ourselves are good deeds or amal saleh. So a person who have true faith and who have true actions are called Muslim. So only then we get a name. Otherwise we don't have a names. Because to Allah, we are not a Muslim when we do not have the true faith in Allah and the good actions. But now we are telling that we are Muslim. Well, Muslim, yes. Only because we have recited the Great Kalima. This is false. This is not true. What we are practicing actually have made ourselves to feel that we are sufficient. And in order to become Muslim, it's sufficient to recite the kalima. So everybody who has recited the kalima, we call he's a Muslim now. Oh, he's a Muslim. When? Oh, yesterday. Oh, last month. And somebody are called Muslim for so long, are called, but they are not Muslim actually. They are only the people who have entered Islam, because they never do the work of inviting people to Allah. So the work of inviting people to Allah is not sunnah, the hukum. Is obligatory, highly obligatory, because it is the work that fulfill the responsibility which are associated with recitation of the great kalima. It is the work that, if we fulfill that work, then we fulfill the right or the responsibility which is associated with reciting the great kalima. So if we don't do the work, we do not fulfill the right. That means we are not amanah. So we are not a person of justice, who are just. We are people of injustice or zalim, because we do not fulfill the right of reciting the Quran. The same as a man who recite the kalima nikah and he doesn't fulfill the right, the work that will fulfill the right of the kalima nikah. So he is a man who have done injustice to his wife, to himself. It's not. He just married that lady and then stay in the house of the mother of the lady and never made a house for her. When in reality, once you marry the lady, you must fulfill her needs: a house, food, clothes, or transport, and both of you have from that marriage have children. Then you also have to fulfill the needs of the children, their education, their clothes, medicine, and all that. Then if you only recite the kalima, you just stay and having sex only, having sex only, you say I'm a husband, but to Allah you are not, and you are doing injustices to yourself and to your wife, to your children, to those men who only knows how to recite the kalima nikah and are not fulfilling the rights of the kalima, have done injustices. How could they will be rewarded by Allah, by marrying? So people are only thinking, I recite the kalima or nikah, it means I am allowed, to penetrate into her vagina with my penis. And that's all. And every day and night, I'm only doing that, nothing else. I'm not working to earn money so that I can build a house for her, given clothes. And not only that, some men, they ask women to work and they relax. Like some men in Mali, I was told by a friend of mine who used to do some work there. He said the men in Mali married 1, 2, 3, 4, and they just stay at home or in the coffee shop talking to one another. They're not working. The one who is working are the ladies in the farm. They don't work because they believe I married is just to make my penis to penetrate into the vaginas of all my wife, and then to bear children and let the wife take care. This is people who do not fulfill the right of the kalima nikah. Similarly, person who have recited the kalima La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah and not doing the work of inviting people to Allah, like the way Muhammad SAW, with the intention to please Allah, with the sacrifice of his wealth and time, is the same as a person like marrying a woman and not doing anything except in sexual intercourse. That's all. These are all people who have done injustices to themselves and to the wife, in other case to the kalima, to Allah. We are doing injustices to Allah. We have promised when we recite the kalima, I bear witness there is no God except Allah and Muhammad. We are making promise to whom? To Allah. When we are saying, I accepted the nikah of this lady with this mahar, we are actually making promise to that lady. So Allah do not like people who break promises, who does not fulfill the promises which they have made to others. Allah hate it. Allah do not like it. So when we recite the kalima, we are making a promise to Allah. There's no God except you. There's no one whom I love except you. There is no one whom I will obey except you. There's no one whom I will praise except you. There is a promise. When we utter the words, I bear witness there's no God except Allah. In other words, we have promised Him that our lover is only Him. Our sustainer is only Him. Our nourisher is only Him. He only can provide us all our needs. And for that, all our obedience only to Allah, none to other than Allah. But instead of fulfilling that promise, we denied Allah. We recite the kalima, but yet we also associate Him with other than others, such as money, work, our job, and our children. And when we are told to go in the path of Allah, and we say, oh, how can I go? I have my children, my wife, my wealth. If we are asked to do the work of dawah, how can I do dawah? I've got to do work for earn money and something like that. Oh, I need to go there, I'm having problem now. I'm not going to do dawah. I have no time. All my time is for my wealth, to earn wealth for my children, my wife. These are the people who overdo the kalima nikah. They are overdo it. In other words, they are really trying to fulfill the needs of their children and wife to the extent they denied their responsibility, fulfilling the promise which they have made with Allah. So we are making promises when we recite the kalima, there is no God except Allah. We have already declared this allegiance to Allah at the time of when we are in the state of souls, alam arwah. Allah asks us, am I not your Lord? We say, yes, certainly you are. You see? So we are actually being tested when we are living in this world. We forget of that allegiance that we have made in the time of arwah. Once we see all these worldly things, once we see our work, our job, money, rivers, houses, buildings, and the beautiful dunya, and we start to say, Allah is not my God. I have many other gods, and I make my own gods. Those who worship the idols, they are actually making their own gods. They don't want to worship Allah. They say, we make my own gods. So I will tell my God, don't give me orders, please. Stay there, be quiet. I will ask you to give me this, to give me that, to give me this. This is I call my prayer. The prayer of those who worship the idols, nothing but asking. The Chinese, who early morning they will burn their incense, and then they go to their idols and they say, oh, give me today good business today, good food, everything today, and that's all. They call it prayer, salat. So one Chinese, I invited him to Islam. He said, why I should be invited to Islam? I am praying, he said. I said, you are praying, but not the praying of Muhammad SAW. So that is not praying, like many so-called, people who have recited the kalima, they don't pray, they don't do dawah, they don't fast, they don't do anything. Their work is only to ask, asking Allah. So when Allah give them good things, they say Allah is happy with me. When Allah do not fulfill their needs, then they say, I've been despised by Allah. Allah has despised me or have ignored me. So they turn into despair and frustration. So people are judging religion only in terms of able to have things of this world or not able to have the thing of this world. When they have things of this world, they say, God is happy with me. He give me this, He give me that. So I must say shukr. I must say thanks to Allah. So what I should ask, then ask more. So when Allah do not give them anything, give them miseries, trouble, accident, sickness, then they say there is no God. It's false. I believe in my work now. Or they start to accuse Allah as not doing nice thing to them. And this is a person who do not have belief actually in Allah. Even though they have recited the great kalima, but they don't have belief in Allah, because they think Allah, to them Allah is only to give them things which they like. Once they don't have the thing which they like, they say Allah is not there. So Allah is for my desire. Allah is to fulfill my desire. Allah is actually my servant, in other words. I'm not the servant of Allah, but Allah is my servant. To do what I like, to make me able to obtain what I like. And that's all the religion of most people in the whole world. Either they worship the idol or not. Their religion is only on the basis of either they obtain the material thing of the world or not. If they don't, they say they are unsuccessful. God is not with them. Or God is not there. It's only fantasy. It's only fallacy. And they make a communism. Communism basis, the foundation of communism is there is no God. Not there is no God except Allah. There is no God at all. So what is God to the communists? Like the people of China, Korea, North Korea, Vietnam. There is no God except our desire. What we want to have. We want the things, we work hard, then we'll get it. We don't work, we got nothing. So work is the one that the science is actually our God. So they devote themselves mainly on the work, on science, able to make all their machine more eloquent and sophisticated, so that with the machine that they have invented, they'll be able to obtain more wealth. So the religion is only about wealth and not having wealth. God is there if there is wealth. God is not there if we are poor. So that time, Karl Marx give the theory of communism. In some countries which are poor, they say we delete religion. We make no God, no religion, only work, earning money and wealth, and make everybody able, whether they are rich or poor, of the same. No one is rich, no one is poor. All the same. Having the same material wealth. That is actually religion. Our religion is we are equal in terms of earning money. No one can earn more than others and make others poor, and some become very rich. So Russia, China took that. Now they find out after a century Russia found out that it's not correct. So collapse of communism. China communist still persisting, opening, they make their business open like the West, open business on merit and capitalism, but they keep their system of ruling the country, communism. The whole world is about earning money, getting money or not getting money. Their life is evolved around that, not around Allah. So Allah is watching. The whole world, either the communist bloc or the capitalist bloc, they are only thinking of money and wealth and land, and that's all. There's no religion at all. Either you are recited the kalima or you are not. You are evolving yourself or revolving yourself around material wealth. The thinking, and the effort is all around making money and making wealth. So actually, the whole world, their religion is actually about wealth, and money is their God. Their desire is their God. So how to make the whole world turn back? Naturally, all this happened because the so-called Muslim who have recited the great kalima are not fulfilling the right of this kalima. They are not inviting the people to Allah. They are not inviting people to believe in the oneness of Allah. That's why everyone in this world now is succumb, to money and to wealth, because they don't know Allah. The person who have recited the kalima, 1.6 billion in the world, are not doing the work. Since so many years, since the time when Prophet ﷺ has passed away, they never do the work. They only conquer the land. You become Muslim as you like, that's all. So we have dismissed the work, the great work which fulfilled the right of reciting the kalima. As a result of dismissing this work, the whole world now turned into a miseries and turmoil. Because of making money as their Lord, as their God, they go into war with each other. They go into fight, they go into aggressions. One become aggressors, the other one become the one who is downtrodden. So there is a lot of injustices in the whole world. No one wants to bring justice. I want your land, I don't care, I will fight with you. So those who don't have weapons, will have, you that. So everybody run to have weapon of mass destruction, so that nobody will dare to attack us. So that's all. Whole world is revolved in pursuing wealth and material things. They have nothing of their souls are barren. Their souls are barren of love, justice, and kindness. They turn to become like animals, like tigers and lions. The whole world is a mess. So this is the fault of whom? This is the fault of the so-called Muslim who have recited the kalima, who do not fulfill the right of reciting the kalima. Because there is no one among those who have recited the kalima who knows about this. They don't know. The so-called scholars of Islam have never mentioned this. I'm the only one who has mentioned this truth. Others, they don't mention. You just recite the kalima. That's about all. You already become a believer, like the desert Arab. And that's why Allah mentioned the Quran. But still we don't understand the Quran. The so-called who understand Arabic or who are Arab, these who do not understand the Quran, they are not doing anything whatsoever to make them to become Muslim, when it is shown and told clearly and directly In order to become a believer, a Muslim, you have to do the work of inviting people to Allah. That's the first work, the main work, which should not be disregarded by all those who have recited the great kalimah. If only we want to become Muslim, to become successful in this world and the hereafter.